So even though the NFL season is 17 games now, I still see week 16. I see 4 weeks into the season. That's the first quarter of the football game. All right. That's the season. Your first 4 games are your first quarter. And it's hard to tell who's who. There's a whole lot of jumbled up pack, right? There's a lot of 2-2. There's some 1-3s. There's some 4-0s. But after 4 weeks, it's really hard to plant your flag and say, I'm confident enough to tell you after 4 weeks this. Isaac, give me a team. Anybody that you got that feeling about after 4 weeks?
Cincinnati Bengals are not going to turn this around. And this is a bad thing because they are not good this year. I would have never expected it, but here we are.
I'm blown away. That's where I'll plant my flag. I've learned 2 things in 4 weeks. One, I should never bet on the Tennessee Titans. Either way, I have no idea what the Titans are going to do week to week. I put money down hardcore, like I was so confident, and then they just get rolled by Cleveland and then come out and roll Cincinnati. I can't. I don't know anything about them. I'm giving up. But dude, the Cincinnati Bengals, I think I said, if we find the old archives, Isaac, when Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl, I said this Cincinnati Bengals team is either going to be a dynasty or the greatest 30 for 30 you've ever seen. Yeah. And I think this might be the greatest 30 for 30 we've ever seen. This is a train wreck in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. So what's the big problem here? I'll tell you exactly what it is. Joe Burrow is playing bad, yet he's not getting the negative attention that our Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua got.
Bro, you know me. I try to stay out of the Tua and all the other nonsense, but Tua gets dissected and beat down and broken on every game that he plays, let alone the fact that right now in the NFL, in QBR, do you know where Tua ranks in QBR right now in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, behind Brock Purdy. Do you know where Joe Burrow ranks?
Probably down, close to 32.
29.
Yep, there you go.
I'm going to give you 4 quarterbacks in the league who have statistically been worse than Joe Burrow. Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
RT17, love you, Tannehill, but and Bryce Young.
Yeah, there you go. And and out of those quarterbacks you've mentioned, they don't have a weapon like Jamar Chase.
Or T. Higgins. Or Joe Mixon.
Yes.
Like the Cincinnati has quickly turned into a team that I thought, and I think I even said with Jeff last week, 1-2, they'll figure it out. But I don't think this is happening because here's the deal. Usually you can point a finger. If I look at Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, their offensive line has been horrible. We talked about it last week. Tannehill's taken a beating all year. Okay. When you look at the Cincinnati Bengals at 1-3, so far, Joe Burrow in 4 games has been sacked 9 times. It's less than 2 a game.
Yeah.
Yet he has not managed to put over 260 yards passing together. Sight unseen, because I know I dig these a little deeper than you go. If I was to ask you right now, give me a touchdown to interception ratio for Joe Burrow. How many touchdowns do you think Burrow's got for the year?
I'm going to say only 3 or 4.
2. How many interceptions?
7.
2. Burrow is a 1-for-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and somehow we're not talking about this guy. And I am going to get on my soapbox for that for Tua, because this is a guy who took a beating last year for getting concussions, for getting hurt.
Let's analyze this a little further, though. The fact that you only have 2 interceptions, yet you only have 2 touchdowns, that shows me that he's not. In a way, I'd rather see him throw more interceptions, because then what does this show? That they just can't get first downs. Because I'd rather him take deep shots and have the interception total go up and the touchdowns stay the same, because that's showing a need for scoring, a need for improvement. That's not happening. And guess what? The schedule's only going to get worse, right? They play a Cardinals team that is also on the same level as the Broncos and Giants. And if they win by only 7, it's officially over. We're saying it's officially over, but no, we're capitalizing officially.
Well, I mean, look, Baltimore's beat up till the end of time. But they still already have a 1-game lead in that division.
Yeah.
Okay. Cleveland lost probably their best offensive player in Nick Chubb, but they're still a game ahead. At this point, I just don't see where Cincinnati digs out of it. I think every year we always see turnover. Two teams that made the playoffs last year that I feel pretty confident in saying won't be back this year are the New York Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals. And there's not anything you can put your finger on. I dug through the numbers with Cincinnati. It doesn't make sense. No. Burrow's not playing under pressure. He's not getting the ball to Jamar Chase. It's not going to Higgins. They're not running the ball.
It's one thing, right, to lose by a few points, which happened against the Ravens.
Sure.
But you get crushed by a Browns team in week 1, and then you get crushed by the Titans, which we don't want to talk about. So now you're going into the Cardinals game where I'm going to say if you win, that doesn't matter. It's how much you win by and what Burrow does. There are so many weaknesses. There's probably zero strength on this Cardinals defense. And you have to be able to exploit this team. If Tua was not able to exploit this Cardinals team, we would hear from the media. Let's hear from it from the media this week because I don't think he'll be able to.
Let's hear about Hollywood Joe, right? Everybody that fell in love with Burrow and who he was. And he was a great quarterback at LSU, but I'm just saying again, if you really took this thing sight unseen, and I just showed you stat lines from Tua, from Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow, I'd pretty much bet anything you want to go that if I showed you straight stat line, you'd take Tua every time. I'm not anointing him on whatever it is. I'm just saying the guy's got a bad rap. He really has, and this Cincinnati team is struggling right now. Yeah. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, the good thing is, and we'll end this on this note, while the Bengals won't be able to turn it around, FL teams will, because we will have some great coverage the rest of the season. We won't be covering the Bengals because they're not a Florida team. But, hey, we'll still be talking about Joe Burrow because Tua needs more love. He's deserved it. He's shown it. And last week's performance against the Bills was not a performance of Tua. It was a performance of the O-line. So on that note, follow at FL Teams. Check out flteams.com. Let's see if the Bengals can turn it around. We don't think so. Thanks so much for watching.